Okay. So, so let's tune in and begin. Inhale. Om Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Ad Guru Name, Jugat Guru Name, Sat Guru Name, Shri Gurudev Name, Ad Guru Name, Jugat Guru Name, Sat Guru Name, Shri Gurudev
Name,
Ad
Adguru
Guru
Name,
Name, Jugat
Jugatguru Name, Satguru Name, Sri Gurudev Name.
Breathe. Hard breath. Okay. So today, again, we are going to have, what do you call that? Pumping? It's not
Heart
right.
pumping.
Heart pumping. Thank you. And that'll be 1 minute. And after that, there will be 3 minutes for uh, listening with heart breath with Baba Siri Chand. And now, um, Japa Saraswati, do you have the chat?
Yes, so I did post it in the chat, and if anybody wants to read along, I'll read it, but you can just scroll up in the chat box. And it says, here is our Baba Siri Chand message. Aliens or intergalactic brothers and sisters, glean from Baba Siri Chand for these folks about their bodies, listening, communication, songs, etc. Men, women, children. Why are they here? When will they see us? What will they happen for us? What will they happen for us? What will happen between us and them?
Yes.
And include anything else that you want to include. Do we understand this?
Does anybody want to ask anything else? Okay, so this is kind of fun for this one, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have had that maybe a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to happen at a certain time. And so we'll just see what's happening. You ready? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now it's heart pumping and begin. And now continue for heart breath, for meditation. And inhale and exhale. And breathe. Okay. So, Aagia Pal.
Yes. Uh, I so I heard from Soul, and then I also heard mostly from Baba Siri Chand, Soul through Baba Siri Chand, that we typically create other like God in our image and likeness, and because that's our way. However, the first step here is to recognize that this illusion of separation, there's no separation here with the intergalactic beings and so on, and that we are being step one is to develop new ways, new sensing mechanisms to acknowledge their presence and communicate with them. And but to be careful not to try to create them in our image and likeness, because that's not really what we're about. So step one, and also that this is going to take some time, because we have to develop, just like we've understood the unconscious and Carl Jung and our shadow side and all of that, just like we've come to recognize that our first step here with acknowledging and receiving, and what will happen between us will happen as we are tuned in to the way new ways of communicating. I didn't get any specifics on that, only that to really stay tuned, stay listening to Baba Siri Chand as our main teacher in this. And yep.
You said from Baba Siri Chand?
Yeah. To that Baba Siri Chand will help us to develop the ways in which we can communicate and be with these beings that are in the universe, other than human beings. So there's a lot of practice, there's a lot of attention, there's a lot of, in this first step, to and to develop, like I said, and what Baba Siri Chand said, to develop this ability, this sensing ability to communicate. And we do that by our intention, and by tuning into Baba Siri Chand with that intention. I think, yeah. And then, as he warned me at the beginning, was that, we often, create beings or like gods in our own image and likeness. And he said, this is not what to do. And so, sisters and brothers, and that is not what he's saying. He's saying that we've got to start fresh and learn new ways of just being with these beings, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's by our intention.
Inspire?
By our intention to, with Baba Siri Chand, asking for guidance and insights and ability, a deep knowing ability, and as we purify our heart, and he said, dust off the negativity from our hearts, we'll be more able to develop our senses to communicate and to be with these beings of the universe. So that's pretty cool, I think. Something I haven't really given a lot of attention to, and apparently need to.
Okay. And I thought you said something else like letting go of our negativity, something like.
Yeah, that's what. So that goes along with step one of being able to learn how to develop the senses to communicate. First, we've got to get rid of, to dust off. He says dust the dirt off and the impurities off our heart, so becomes more receptive, like an antenna, like more receptive to the love of these beings, because this is pure. They are pure love, pure union, pure just pure love. But we can't experience that if we're blocked by hearts that are hard, hardened hearts. and he he went around that with me, just with a dust with dust cloth, and he was dusting my heart, and I felt like new light could come in. Yeah. And then the last thing was that for us to, with each other human, to dust the hearts of those that we come in contact with, to help them to come out of the dark that they're perhaps in, or the hardness that their hearts have developed, for protection perhaps, or what they thought was protection. So it was something that that's what we can do to help with the developing these senses, which I have no idea yet what that means, really. I just have to spend more time with Baba Siri Chand. But before we can develop these senses, we've just got to prepare ourselves. And that's the issue of the heart, with the heart, prepare our hearts.
Okay, so now about what you're talking about, excuse me, and about what is called the apocalypse, and I feel that is also the age of Aquarian.
Yep.
So I want to know, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Oh, is that about the second coming of Jesus, like that? What is that? I mean, no, is that happening with our brothers?
Well,
that's Baba Siri Chand.
Good question. Let me just ask Baba Siri Chand.
Okay.
Well, okay, so he says we're entering into the age of apocalypse, of revelation, and okay, and the old is going to, I see it, the old is flowing on the air currents and in the streams, and it is flowing and down away, and the new is he's not saying about, the second coming, because it's a human construction. He's saying that in the age of Aquarius, that the understanding and love and compassion and those aspects of our being are increasing, our will be, we can control that too. We can say no, that if we say yes to that, everything will increase, and this would be tantamount to the second coming if we can share that with everyone. And yep. And also that the things that, like poverty and all of that, we see that now. We see that increasing as well. So and the earth is just being destroyed, and so he's saying now that part of this apocalypse requires an awakening on our parts, and many of us are in this process of awakening, and that it's absolutely imperative, and it will happen in this apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic world. But he said, just be careful that to maintain an openness and trying not to understand in terms that we already know, in terms that we already have studied, and et cetera, the sensing and the understanding with a capital U is very deep, a deep knowing. He says, and it's like when you meet someone and they say something and it touches you deep, he says, it touches you deep, and you have a heart connection. And that's so I guess I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry. And but that's what he's talking about with the second, with your question about the second coming.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you again.
Okay.
Something else.
Okay.
So, what will happen? You just said that there some people don't want to go to the light or to the love, but what happens to them?
Yeah. Let me see. It's not what really I want to hear, what I just hear is that our intention is everything, and if we intend and allowing the goodness within our heart to come through, then we will, for lack of a better word, survive, will, and flourish. If our hearts are hardened and closed, we have power and control to say no, we're closed. And it might be that, and those people, those individuals will perhaps, I don't want to say it unequivocally, but not survive, or just can't survive, because their intention is not, maybe money is their God, or, power is their power over is their God. But if power with is something they're intending, then we will all survive. We'll survive as a community. But I think it boils down to, we have a choice.
Mm.
That's what he says, we have a choice. We have that power. And so I think the key is that if we can help others dust off their hearts and quote unquote see the light and be light, then the more the better, the more who, because it's coming down to survival, right? I'm not saying survival of the fittest, but I'm saying survival of those who intend and who are open to love, because love is the source of our life, the breath upon which we meditate on, and the prana, the life force. And anyway, I'm going on and on, but that's what I heard. And thank you for letting me and helping me share that.
And thank you. Okay. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Okay. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, hopefully it was helpful.
Okay. Okay, so now Ved Bachan.
Yeah, this has been really interesting for me. At first, Baba Siri Chand was communicating to answer the questions. And so I'll just share a little bit about that. So he was just saying that we are one with these intergalactic brothers and sisters. And he showed me this sort of circle of, it's like the best way I can describe it is like a circle of light, like but it's like sort of dotted in a way. And he said they communicate through sonar, and then they travel in light bodies, so they're much less dense than our physical form. And they we've we know each other, and we've been traveling together, and we're a team, so we work together, and they're here to guide,
Excuse me,
teach.
with humans?
Would you say?
So the brothers,
Uh-huh.
have known about humans?
I just heard they know us and we know them, so I don't know if that means like as like soul, or as us as humans. It wasn't like specific about the form, but
Okay.
that like we know each other, we've been traveling together. My guess is like in, I don't know, through different bodies and forms, but I don't, yeah, it wasn't specific. And then I started to feel some like intensity in my digestive area. And I was asking, like, is this part of, this information that you're trying to share? And I got a yes. And I said, what is it about? And he said, helping us digest and integrate new frequencies, and that we're developing a new digestive system. And then I just started like feeling that area of my body and listening. And I was just basically being given like different sounds. I feel like probably from them to sing, and so I was sounding. It felt like with them, and then those sounds were like a different language that we were communicating in, and through that I felt like there wasn't anything to know in my mind. It was just that I was connecting to them through sounds. And it felt really beautiful.
Mm. Wow,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. It was sweet. I feel like they're really like here blessing us. And if we're open um, to just receiving something that we don't know and we can't maybe even describe, but just like letting ourselves receive and give in a new form. And it might feel a little bit out there or weird to some, but yeah, just like really allowing the flow um, to move between us in this new form of connection and communication.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the other thing that I got was as I was experiencing this communication, there was no it was, I had an understanding that there's really no resistance, because the like in the mind it's duality, like good, bad, right, wrong. But in this kind of connection, there is no separation. We're just like moving, sounding sort of together. And yeah, not necessarily trying to make meaning out of it. It's the best I can really describe my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about sounds, but
Uh-huh.
not about words, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, and so want to also ask just simple knowing from sounds. Is that correct or not?
Yeah, I would say more like experience through sound, like an experience of connection and understand, like an experience of each other through sound without any like labels or like descriptions, just like a pure experience. Yeah, through sounding.
Interesting. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
Lots of love, right?
Yes.
We got a
So much,
lot
so
of
much love.
love,
Yeah.
your love.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Gian Das Prem.
Satnam, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be back here again. Um, so that was really deep. Um, sometimes getting the lost in the meditation is that's so cool. And so what I had was noticing the courage, like within the noticing. And from that, I was just told to go inside and notice, the center line, and the matter that it takes for us to come together, and the amount of lives that are the cells, like if each cell is a life, there's that constant progressive, that DNA way of helping us move along through the changes that we're facing. And as far as alien or foreign, it's really cool to hear the third ear coming back into it again, and then the noticing of people that we meet at times that are allowed through the communication of just the meeting, sometimes of that vibration of the person, that it gives us something new to ourselves as a reminder. And I think noticing that is alien, that of which gives us new information, is also giving us a chance to notice our power that we have of life, that allows us to have a certain amount of creation in this way that we are living with all of these species here on Earth. And then we here as a human species, who are obviously separate from our knowing, from our explanation, from our looking at our DNA. Now we have different ways, right, of noticing and following the numbers and following the vibrations and following the frequencies and the amplitude modulation of those sounds that are moving throughout. And that's part of the frequency, right, that allows us to either hear it. Myself, I hear ringing in my ear a lot, and sometimes I get sounds coming in from my left ear that go through to the right side and can sort of clear out the ringing a little in my right ear. And I can somehow, at times, I can hear different things. And I think that that's the creation, right, of that creation allowing its way in for us to notice. Yeah, how many different languages there are, in the species, from a worm to a human, from a bee to an ant. There's just so many different things there. And for me, personally, it was, noticing the proof of the science that we have, how DNA can change, how people can heal, and the enhancing of that, moving through our auras, our chakras, the zones of our spine, the energy centers. We have adrenals and glands. We have, these other systems inside of us we are a scientific creation that is the ultimate technology. I would, in my opinion, the machines are what the aliens are, in a sense, because is there a point that's going to come when there'll be a robot telling me I'm under arrest because he has facial recognition that I laughed at a robot? Or can I just totally forget about all that too? Because we do have a certain power within, becoming, back again. I'm going back to being a kid, I'm looking at tadpoles, I'm looking at the algae, I'm wondering how do they make that life and why am I here in this body as opposed to being in that body there? That body there is alien to me. How do I have a chance to get inside and be a frog, or be the ant, or be the leaf, or be the piece of dirt? We're all sort of here working together, in a sense, to have this symbiotic relationship of the freedom, of letting go. And in that surrender, I think if we can find that way, if we can learn that way of surrender, that freedom is really there supporting that surrender in a way from the earth. There's so much power. And for me, the last week, I'm seeing images of digging into the earth, and it goes back to the water hole, of when the water dries up, a lot of animals go down deep and then they can come back up, and years later in some instances. So these cycles that we have here, right, of, we know light travels for so long, and that we are the stars, and when the stars die, so am I. Where are we going from there? We're still there. So dropping the explanation, yeah, it's very important to release that fear, because I think that we're sort of warriors, and we really move well when we have a sort of relaxation and a rhythm, and we in a sense are creating our own rhythm and our own vibration, and it's just um, beautiful to witness that there are now billions of other people here on the earth, and we've been breathing in air, so therefore we have a way about us that allows us to retain knowledge, to gain beauty and love through our breathing. And the message is alternate nostril. Back to that, I'm trying to improve on my breathing and to see how far I can walk and if I can go up the hill and whatnot. And the simple parts of life there is that it's directly attached to the water in my breathing. So I can go through that cycle each time I do it. Reminder, it may not always be there for me to be in it, and that's when I can go to sleep and whatnot, and use those other parts of the yogic balance, within that practice that'll allow me to plant my garden, this week, and arrange, the certain flowers around to protect certain plants and be in that symbiosis of finding the way of the food that's coming from the ground. So yeah, and the male and female side of, the examples of, the what we are, what I am, in a sense, I think is and seeing that line, in between of my feminine side, divine, and my masculine side, finding that way within the sun, that heat of the sun, and going back to the womb. Because we know the flow can match our past. And I think that we know it's within our attempts, all of our past attempts, and knowing that way that we've come through this, that we really are set for true freedom, for allowance of true freedom and the movement of each of us to, equally have that way. And that very well may take a DNA change for our brains to just think differently, right? To be more earth attached, to this freedom that we have supplied here for us, to erase the rules and somehow go into surrender of, what this is here given to us all with possibilities, used with less instruction from a natural vibration for the light and shade to bathe equally all souls from the matching of, the cells that create us, right? Yeah. And wahi guru to that, and just practice. If we can practice and continue practicing a little bit at a time is where progress comes from. And we've been here for a while. So if we can continue to breathe and be where we are, then wahi guru. God bless. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, dear.
Thank you for all these people.
Okay.
Wonderful.
City. Did you understand all this?
It's soaking in. I've had some things that kept me from getting here, so I didn't. I'm not quite sure what to say.
Oh, okay. So shall we go for other people now? And
Yes.
then afterwards, Sun
Yeah.
City, if you want
Yeah.
to talk more?
Yes, thank you. I'm
Okay.
really loving being here. I had some things that kept me from being here last week and for part of this week.
Okay, good. Okay. Harimandir.
Yeah. The first message is just we are all one, and it's not just on this planet or this galaxy or whatever. I mean, it's all one.
Mm.
And what I'm hearing more often verbalized by different people is going going back to
Would you like Tito?
Going back to the idea that we have attached to, for example, Native American spirituality, in which we can communicate, or everything on this planet has spirit, and none of them are separate or different really than we. So therefore other beings, or maybe there's a better word for it because that's too much human, sensing through sonar, through sound, through flow, through all these different things, is simply expanding what we really already know, or already have experienced in, or maybe have begun to experience. I went to a group meditation last night. A woman from Hungary was teaching meditation, and she was going through, over several months, different meditations. So last night it was Zen, and we were sitting and experiencing the sitting. But in the end, she mentioned, and I love the concept of whatever we do is meditation, whether we're chopping vegetables or cleaning house or talking to someone, or whatever action we take, whatever chore we do with the intention, then that becomes a presence and a meditation in itself. And if we can bring that intention that everyone is talking about into whatever it is that we are doing at any particular moment, then we begin to experience or find the connection on a whole different level. So we're not as rushed or as irritated or all those things in doing what we're doing. So I love that idea, and that was just last night. So bringing that into whatever we daily do is it's a beginning practice. That's it.
Interesting. Okay. Now, there's so many things that I want to know. Okay, Harimandir.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this meditation, but are you saying particularly mantras that we have? Is that particularly
No,
important? No?
no. It's simply experiencing whatever we do as a meditation with that intention. The intention, as everyone has been saying, is with intention, whatever we hear or experience or are doing becomes open to a whole different level of it opens up whatever we're doing to other options or other awarenesses or experiences simply by the intention of bringing the concept of meditation into that experience.
Okay. Which is basically love, right?
Correct. Yeah. Love and attention, and not, how do I say this? That it isn't other, that everything we do isn't other, and any piece or molecule of the planet or the galaxy isn't other. Somebody else said it better, but that's, and as we do that and bring that intention in, then I suppose information moves between us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Harimandir.
Yeah.
Oh, and everybody, I'm sorry, I didn't tell you that you might be having longer. Is that okay for this session? Is that okay?
Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. Sun City, are you
Yes.
ready?
Yep.
I'm making a shot in the dark of what I think we're talking about.
Oh, did you see the chat?
Yeah, I went in there. My first mistake was I went into the exact mistake I made a couple of weeks ago into an old one. And I was like, wow, they started this, they're moving through this so fast. But I was not on the original chat now. So when I go in right now, meeting group chat, there's nothing there.
It's
If
not
you
there.
scroll up a little bit, Sad City, it's open up your chat window and scroll up.
Okay.
It should have the message.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it to you?
Sure, that'd be really helpful. Thank you so much.
Well, it's about aliens and intergalactic brothers and sisters. So we're tuning to Baba Siri Chand to glean from the aliens about their body, about the way they listen, communicate, songs. Are they men or women? Why are they here? When will they see us? And what will happen with us interacting with them and anything else. So that's what we are doing today.
Okay. I don't know how this ties in, but what I was getting strong messages about from Soul as I was tuning in and just listening. For some reason, this concept of disintegration versus integration. And I feel what I was hearing was, and feeling actually, that we're already in a process of disintegrating along these very thought, structures, emotional structures, cultural structures, that the process of this interaction with with loving, knowing, brilliant, kind other lives. And I'm partly influenced by a gentleman who used to be at Solstices a lot, who was a psychiatrist, and he talked about this like 25 years ago. But from my own experiences, that I surrender in a loving way and feel safe in the disintegration of my own personality, which is actually going on through our work in Soul Answer. And also then it's kind of paralleled by some work I had the opportunity to do in EMDR, which basically my experience is, and it's helped me a lot to be ready for this disintegration of old forms and integration of new structures that are directly related to new identities. I hope I'm making sense. So I'm already getting it kind of on the physical level of my own brain, which I'm grateful for, although I must say it's like a deep meditation, and it really takes time and commitment, like a sadhana. So what that reintegration will look like, just number one, Soul says, don't be afraid. Just remember when you're a little kid and you went into the big wave and you got bounced around in the surf. I forget what we used to call those. Sea puss. You could get caught in a sea puss and taken out to sea. And the lifeguards always had a rowboat. They actually rescued my father at one point. So it's like the metaphor of the ocean waves. That's how powerful this energy is. And it shakes things up and disintegrates the old thought patterns like, no, there can't be aliens, and all our science, pseudoscience, I would call it now, that doesn't explain the grandeur, infinity of the universe. So, and what's possible and who we get to become in this encounter. So the other thing I've been really struggling with in the last 2 weeks is things about war keep coming into my life. And one of them is this little prayer book that the soldiers in World War One, it's called the Oswald Chambers. So it's just like a little prayer book for that the guys from England who faced World War One and World War Two is just so brutal, especially World War One in the trenches. And this book, which just happened to come across me to my life, is so beautiful, and I feel that energy of the people who went before us. And World War One was like about one world changing, and compared to this quantum change we're facing, an opening to the galaxy, those souls really did a lot of work for us in breaking old forms. Like last time I was here and spoke, that's been a really big theme in my soul, living from soul in my everyday life, because it's hard to endure structures falling and changing. We just had the collapse of major portions of the U.S. government, which nobody would ever have believed this would happen.
That's right.
It really is happening. And that's a great palpable example. I'm sitting there looking, it's like, wow, is my social security check going to come? Or do I need to get out there and hustle and get a job so I have a paycheck? So it's very direct and personal. So disintegration will lead to infinitely beautiful, soulful reconnection. We have a lot to learn from other life, and back to that old guy, the gentleman that we used to have at Solstice, who dressed like a wizard, and Yogi Bhajan says, "Stop scaring the new yogis."
Yeah, Narayan.
Right. He scared the hell out of me because his office was his little hot little red sports car, and you go in there, and this man dressed like a wizard and saying all this. He was saying a lot of this stuff a couple of decades ago. So I'm trying not to run out of the car now when I look at what's happening. So disintegration means the opening for integration. I feel like I'm a stuck record, but that's all I can really express. And not being afraid of that and allowing the time for it to happen, because it's kicking my bum. I get really tired sometimes. And it's a gift. It's the most amazing, miraculous gift. And what's so wonderful is we're so lucky to have a community, because a lot of folks don't have that support. I'm really grateful to each and every one of you, especially Japa Saraswati, you for holding the technology together, and for Siri Gian so lovingly and devotedly offering this opportunity, and then to each and every one of you, because I get something really deep every week from each of you. And I'll pass.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Sat City. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, Japa Saraswati.
We've just had such powerful messages today. And my notes are a mess, but I wanted to first say to Gian Das Prem about the ringing in your head and in your ears, because I get that too, especially when I'm getting messages, and I think of that as the angels. And Joan of Arc used to hear messages from the Archangel Michael coming. It's written in her biography, or from her right ear, and that it was, at first she thought it was the cathedral bells at Dom Remy, and then she realized, and I've had that also with Baba Siri Chand sitting in his pagoda, when it was outside and I thought that it was like a gong. I thought somebody maybe inside was playing the gong, but it just was one continuous sound for such a sustained time. And there was nobody inside, and it was clearly an energetic uh, frequency or vibration that that Baba Siri Chand, and I think also other ascended masters, make sort of when they interact with us and also with the world around us, to give us the vibration of the message that it is that they're there to convey. And that goes into my message from Baba Siri Chand about we have not attracted, but like we as a planet have grown sophisticated enough, with culture being a vibration, something that we vibrate out, and that our species is are is changing, and our vibration as a species is changing, and that part of this is because we have so much beautiful diversity and variation and expression, different genetic expressions, being from races that maybe have crossed, or even different variations of on the gender spectrum, and on all of the other wild, amazing genetic spectrums that we can present as human beings, that we just got so sophisticated as a human being, as a species, that now there are so many different expressions, and that this is part of why we're sophisticated enough to draw the attention, and want for them to communicate with us, the aliens, who are super conscious beings, like Baba Siri Chand. And I want to also say that there are many different races and species of aliens, that they're really culturally and socially diverse. So if we're talking about one species right now or one race, then or what I'm talking about from the message here is, and that doesn't mean that there aren't other much equally diverse to the alien species and races as there are here on planet Earth. In fact, like outer space is way bigger than planet Earth, so it's actually like a lot more diverse than just us. And that's part of it, is that like our intelligence is part of its AI and part of it's our intelligence being able to record and encapsulate and I want to say technologize it, because as these things get documented and written about and tweeted about and have put Dewey Decimal System cards in the library system, all of those things are in the cloud, which is basically data that's getting transmitted through the it's part of our vibration. It's part of how we're vibrating. And what I got about the aliens is that they have instant knowledge because they process information electronically, or not electronically, electrically, through the vibration of the atmosphere around them. And this is because of different atmospheres in outer space. So, like, it eliminates the need to communicate through languages, and it eliminates the need to be close to each other. Like they can communicate from great distances. Um, and so it's super efficient, and we're as a species, we've been much slower, but they can sense. So what that means is also they can sense our thoughts and emotions instantly, like when they're dealing with us. But we're going to grow that ability, because basically the way that we're using technology is not only the way that we're using technology, this is speeding us up. Also, the information I got that's speeding us up is that we eat. It's coming from the food that we eat, like especially sometimes also genetically modified foods, but also like the germs and the bacteria that's on the foods is getting into our digestive system, and that this bacteria inside of us is what's basically going to enable us to grow. What he showed me was like, how like a lobster can lose a claw and then it grows back another claw, or a sea star can lose one of its arms and it grows back another one. Baba showed me that it's like growing back another one of those, but it's like a part that you never even knew that you had. Like he showed me like the sea star with something coming off its head. And he was like, and it's beautiful. Look, like it was great. And he also said that we're going into totally new situation, like that like with these new appendages, with these new senses that we're going to develop, um, that it's a totally new situation. And so no old patterning or energy, like that this is part of this Aquarian time, is breaking that old patterning and energy to be in this place for receptivity to grow these new abilities and ways. And what he showed me then was Sunya and Shunya, so deeply listening, and that Shunya is that deep stillness. And he showed me for each of us that that's when it happens, is that when we're in that place of stillness and listening, that also we're going to get the information, and Yeah, I think that's it. I think that was it. Those were most of my notes. I think that was it.
Thank you.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you. This was great from everybody. Wasn't it wonderful?
Oh my gosh, you guys. You know what
Isn't it?
though? I miss Sahaj. I realized I forgot to send her the link and I sent it to her like maybe 15 minutes ago. And so I'm going to send her the recording, but I feel her absence in this right now. I forgot to message her. Oh, it looks like we lost Set City. No, who did we lose?
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, Aagia Pal.
We lost Aagia Pal. She might have had to go. It's late.
Uh-huh. Okay. Good. Okay. So
Wow.
I would just say, don't worry about anything. Instead, fear and let it go for what you might call destruction, and that would be good, right? Because
Yeah.
and move into pure love, because that is what is happening to create. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, here we are. This was so great from all of you. Love you so much. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you.
Okay. So, someone lead the song. Oh, maybe Gian Das Prem.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Put our hands together a little. So we'll just do one and then three long, short noms. Can we do three?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Deep inhale and begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on.
Inhale.
So
Bless you all. Your love. Love you, love you, love you.
Love you.
Um,
Thank you. Hi, Guru.
Hey everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yep.